Okay, folks. Alright, alright. I can just imagine people saying this. But they literally dropped both the characters' full animations, not just the promo video, but the full animations, as well as the details for the new AGL LR Cell Max. And it looks like he's going to be a Carnival LR. And literally, as soon as I turned off my computer, it happened. So over the course of the next few hours following that, we also got EZA details for Carnival LR Metal Cooler, as well as the LR Dokkan Fest exclusive Super Saiyans Goku and Vegeta from the Metal Cooler movie. So we're going to look at the animations, the full animations for LR Cell Max here, hop into the details, and I hope to put timestamps for each of the breakdowns, so if you want to go check out a certain one, you can just skip to it. I hope you all enjoy, and let's hop in to these details, because I am super excited for these EZAs. They seem to be very amazing, and Cell Max, yeah, prepare to be amazed. Okay, so this is obviously the entrance animation. This is going to be the 12 key, if I'm not mistaken. That could have been the domain, actually. That was the domain. Yes, that was the domain. Okay, that was the domain. So this is the 12 key. This is the maximum smash. This is what we see in all the Cell Max events. And then this is the 18 key, which is maximum storm. So now, as you can see that that's happening, which is odd, but it's not a AoE super attack. Okay, so let's go into the details here. We've got movie bosses category key +4 and 220% to stats. I think this is a Carnival LR. I could be mistaken. We won't know until later. And we have some details. So the active skill condition can be activated when all allies are movie bosses category characters or starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. Once only. Massively raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage to the enemy, creates the domain new Red Ribbon Army's base ruined for 2 turns. This lets me know that in the future we're going to get a new Red Ribbon Army base not ruined. By virtue of this particular way of formulating it. Okay, so this is a extraordinarily good active skill condition because of what we're going to read here in his kit. Are you ready, folks? Activates the entrance animation upon the character's entry. There is no conditions whatsoever. Once only gains a permanent 999% attack and defense. Okay. But permanently loses 111% attack and defense for every 2 turns passed, no more than minus 444%. Okay. So, whether or not this is a direct subtraction from the 999% attack and defense is something I don't have the understanding for, and I apologize for that. I will try to figure that out at some point. I don't know about today. It's looking to be a very busy day for me. But this mechanic is very similar to the AGL Golden Frieza, who also loses 10% damage reduction with every 2 turns passed post EZA, you might add, but no less than minus 60%. So then, as the basic effect, receives an additional key +1 per key sphere obtained and guards all attacks. Now, I've mentioned this before. I don't like it when they put a huge part of the passive and they say it's going to be for 1 turn or 4 turns or 7 turns, whatever the case is. I don't like it. But we shall see what they do here because there's a lot more to this passive here. So for 1 turn, he's got 8 ki, 70% damage reduction, 100% attack when attacking, and 100% defense when receiving an attack. So coupled with the active skill, this is going to be an enormous amount of damage with the 999% attack and defense, as well as 100% attack and 100% defense when attacking, when receiving an attack, which will multiply on top of that. Remember, each different part of the passive multiplies into each other. And then starting from the second turn, from the character's entry turn, when attacking, ki plus 3 and attack of 40% if HP is 20% or more, another 40% and another 3 ki when HP is 50% or more, and then another 2 ki and another 20% attack when HP is 80% or more. When receiving an attack, 50% defense and damage reduction rate of 40% if HP is 20% or more, plus an additional 30% defense and damage reduction rate of 20% if HP is 50% or more, and then another 20% defense and damage reduction rate of 10% if HP is 80% or more. Okay, so that is a total of 70% damage reduction and a total of 100% defense, so long as you're above 80% health. I would like to mention that the current theme for movie bosses post the release of Cell Max, this AGL Cell Max, as well as the EZA for the Carnival Metal Coolers, not with an S, Metal Cooler, the Carnival one, that team is recovering health every turn. No joke. That team is recovering HP every single turn. Okay, the coolers have infinite regeneration. They also have built into their kit HP regeneration. It's going to be very difficult to be below 80% health. Except, of course, if we start getting a seriously serious all-out battle stage that's going to be supering us in slot 1 with a crit that ignores 100% defense and is like 7 million. Yeah, that can happen. I wouldn't put it past the Dokkan battle developers. When activating the active skill or when attacking with 20 or more ki, performs a guaranteed critical hit and launches an additional super attack. So 20 ki when he's already getting 8 ki, he's an additional 1 ki per ki sphere obtained. If you're using double Cell Max's lead, you're starting off with 8 ki, gets an additional 8 ki in first turn. He's got 16 ki. You get 2 orbs that aren't AGL, and you've got 20 ki. Right? So more than likely, you'll be able to get that, and I firmly believe that this unit is going to be insanely good. Okay? So we've got Android Assault, Infighter, Berserker, Big Bad Bosses, Nightmare, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Movie bosses, androids, artificial life forms, battle of fate, super bosses, and uncontrollable power as the categories. The 12 ki greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn, which would probably be 50% attack and 30% defense, and that's both for 1 turn. That does not stack. Causes colossal damage and seals the super attack with a great chance of stunning the enemy. So I believe that means that it's all affecting the enemy. So I do not see how valuable this is in places outside of Super Battle Road, etc. Because in the more difficult content, the 5 and 6 difficulty content, especially Series and Serious All-Out Battles 2, we can't do any of this to our opponents. So I don't see how valuable this is. And then the 18 ki massively raises attack for 4 turns and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy. Massively is 100% multiplier. Yeah. And now we go to the new Red Ribbon Armies Ruined domain, and movie bosses category enemies and allies gain 60% attack. Okay. This can come to bite us. Many of the bosses are movie bosses. And yeah, they fulfill half of that condition with the name already, being bosses, etc. But 60% attack, and you can activate this on turn 1. LRSL Max will probably delete anything turn 1. I don't think they have a boss possible that wouldn't be taken out turn 1. Just mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling to me. Alrighty, folks, on to the EZA for Infinite Terror Metal Cooler. Wicked Bloodline category gains 1 key to a total of 4 key, and the stats remain the same at 200%. There is, aside from the additional stats and effects that they're giving Metal Cooler, they have also adjusted the revival skill. Okay? So we will take a look at that at the end of this. So we've got 15% HP recovery at the start of turn. Like I was saying, this team will just be healing left, right, and center. Okay? So we've got 5 key and 250% to attack and defense. Chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate of 50% straight away. And then once only, chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate of 30%. So that could be once in the entire battle for 1 attack. That could be for 1 turn. It's very, very odd wording there. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack, and that's not tied to the once only. When HP is 80% or less, recovers an additional 10% health. When attacking for the first time, the more HP remaining, the greater the attack boost within the turn, up to 200%. So turn 1, you're also doing more damage, which also ties into the 2-turn domain skill for LR Cell Max. When receiving an attack for the first time, the more HP remaining, the greater the defense boost within the turn, up to 200%. So they are literally building this unit for a slot 1 Mega Nuke. As in a slot 0 Mega Nuke. After receiving an attack, recovers 10% in health at the end of the turn. So anytime you're getting hit, another 10% health at the end of the turn. And then 4 key and 100% attack and defense permanently. When receiving an unarmed super attack, has a 70% chance of nullifying it, and guarantees to nullify it if the character's revival skill has been activated. So an attack like the Maximum Smash from Cell Max is a attack that can be nullified. And when activating the active skill, gains an additional 350% attack temporarily on top of what the active skill does. So this is a very good thing, because this is another way that they can add to an active skill without actually changing the active skill. Because what it happens is for EZAs is that the active skill does not change at all. Okay? It's the super attacks and the passive that change. And in this case, the revival skills are also the activation condition changed. So when the character is KO'd, or when an ally is KO'd, if there is another ally whose name includes Cooler's armored squad excluded, attacking in the same turn, revives with HP fully recovered. So if you're running Tech Metal Cooler Army, whatever, the TUR that just released a couple of months ago, and you go in with him on the rotation, anyone can activate the revival skill on that turn. Or just put him in the line of fire and you get the revival skill. Do I think it's worth it? Maybe. Because after the character's revival skill is activated, 200% attack and 100% defense, guaranteed guard, and another 15% damage reduction before attacking, starting from the next attacking turn. Do I think that that's a lot? Not exactly. 65% damage reduction is nothing great in some of these events. So let's go and look at the super attacks. The super attack raises attack and greatly raises defense for one turn, so that'll be a 30% attack and 50% defense raise both for one turn. Causes colossal damage to the enemy and greatly lowers attack. That greatly lowers attack is something that sometimes can be used in more difficult events. Usually it's the stunning or sealing that can never be used in more difficult events. Super attack effect massively raises attack and greatly raises defense for one turn, causes mega colossal damage to the enemy, and massively lowers defense. Also something that can also be done in some events. So these super attacks I feel are much more useful than the 12 key for Cell Max. Next we have the EZA for full power. Final Showdown, Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta. The leader skill is a 200% leader skill, and okay, so when we have 200% leader skills, the only thing that happens for the Dokkan festivals is that one key is added to the secondary categories. Okay, so what we have here is a little bit complicated to understand at first glance, but I'm going to go through with it, and this EZA will seem a lot better than initially seen at first glance. So we've got 5 key, 250% attack and defense, 30% damage reduction, receives an additional 1 key per type key sphere obtained. That means not for rainbow key spheres, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. Then, for 4 turns from the character's entry turn, another 150% attack and defense, has a guaranteed additional super attack, and 40% damage reduction, which brings that up to 70% for 4 turns. And as I said before, I am not a fan of these types of passives that are limited to 4 turns. And it's not so bad in this case because this unit has a mechanic that is similar to Revival, but it's more of an active skill. So moving on here, we've got 200% extra defense and 20% extra damage reduction before attacking. So as the slot 1 unit with 90% damage reduction, this is better than Golden Frieza, who has 90% damage reduction for the first 2 turns at the start of battle. He's got it for 4 turns, this unit. And when attacking with 18 or more key, 150% attack and defense, and a 50% chance of performing a critical hit. Nothing looking particularly stellar yet. And on the character's next attacking turn, after performing 3 or more super attacks and receiving 5 or more attacks in battle, or when 3 or more movie hero category allies are on the team, starting from the 5th turn from the character's entry turn. So we can use this morale boost as soon as we lose our 4 turns. Part of the passive. We will get to that momentarily. The 12th key greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn, so 50% attack, 30% defense, and it is for 1 turn. It causes colossal damage to the enemy. And then greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn. It causes mega colossal damage to the enemy, and then also greatly lowers attack and defense, which can be phenomenal in some cases. And then we have the morale boost. So this is where things change dramatically, in my opinion. Okay, we no longer have anything but 20% damage reduction tied to the first turn. Okay. Ki +5, 300% attack and defense, 70% straight up damage reduction, no conditions whatsoever. Receives an additional 2 ki per ki sphere obtained and launches an additional super attack guaranteed. For 1 turn, 20% damage reduction, and when attacking with 18 or more ki, 150% attack, and a high chance of performing a critical hit. And then they separate it to where when receiving an attack, when you have 18 or more ki, they gain another 150% defense. When activating the active skill or when attacking with 24 ki, 300% extra attack and 150% defense. Performs a guaranteed critical hit. Launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack. And starting from the next attacking turn, gains 500% attack temporarily if facing one enemy when attacking. Okay, so all in all, I have a little bit of mixed feelings about this unit, unfortunately, but in any shape or form, for a 5-turn event, for any missions in Seriously Serious All-Out Battles that requires to be done in 5 turns or less, this unit may just be phenomenal. May very well just be phenomenal as a slot 1 unit. We've all been saying that the Movie Heroes team needs a slot 1 unit for the most part. Here we go. We've got it now. So for shorter events, this is definitely going to be great. For longer events, it's impossible to know that the 70% damage reduction is going to be enough because this unit does not stack any kind of stats, and it's going to hurt this unit in the long run. That's pretty much all I can say. In the long run, in 4, 5, 6 months from now, this unit is really going to not be holding up to par the difficulty of events. It's just something that is unfortunate. If he had even just a little bit of stacking on defense, this unit could have been phenomenal with this kit. But I do know that if they did stack defense, they would take off some of this damage reduction or some of these stats, and that is something that they will always need, no matter what, as a slot 1 unit right away. And that they cannot wait for any kind of stacking to kick in for it to be of great effect. A prime example of this is, of course, the 7th year LR EZAs, where they're greatly raising attack and defense on every one of their super attacks, and it can take them a while to build up the tanking without any damage reduction. A rather extreme example, I do recognize that, but still something that is to be noted. So there you folks have it. That is the EZA details, as well as the details for LR Cell Max. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you folks think of these 3 kits? The LR Cell Max kit and the 2 EZAs for the Carnival Final Form Cooler, as well as the Dokkan Fest exclusive Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta. I do have a Discord in the description down below, folks. I would like to grow the Discord. If you folks are able to join, please do. If you are new here or you aren't already, please consider subscribing. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and of course, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please let me know in the description down below. Of course, if I make any mistakes, please also let me know in the description down below. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Goshin, signing off.